Hey guys, just wanted to do a video on a very common question I get, which is how to work on getting those thin strokes and how to transition them basically from the thick to thin strokes. So here is something I wrote with the brush pen, which I talk about in other videos, but real quick, I love to use the Tombow dual brush pen, and I use the thicker side for writing. Having trouble focusing there, but basically you see thick lines here, and then I transition to a thin, almost a hairline, and then back to thick again. And that's really what defines calligraphy, that thick to thin variation in the strokes. So I'm hoping I can quickly go over some of the things that I do to improve. And you'll see these explained with better pictures on my blog post. So I'm just going to go through. First, you want to get familiar with your pen. And I did a quick little diagram here on the different pressures that this pen in particular creates. So when I first try to do light pressure, I'm barely touching the paper, and I'm kind of shaky just because it takes a lot of control to do just a light touch. And you will notice that different pens may have a different thickness, and that's just the way the pen is designed. And then I also recommend trying to do a medium pressure, not full pressure yet, but just a little bit thicker than the lines you just created. And what I'm doing here is just basically, I'm still testing, like this is what I do when I receive a new pen. Obviously I've been using the dual brush pens for a long time, so I don't really test them anymore, but if I get a new brush pen that I've never tried, this is what I do. And then last, you have heavy pressure, where I am putting the pen all the way down full force on the page, on its side. Just like that. And what I like about this is it allows me to see the max width of the pen, so I know what a letter should look like, or at least how thick I could go if I wanted to. So that's getting familiar with your pen and a quick exercise. And this is something you should do all the time too, just to practice. And then I recommend just really looking at letters and learning when to transition. So I wrote just a few here. I'm planning to do the whole alphabet, but for starters, you have your A, and oops. Okay, so we start thin here, and then I go thicker, and then I transition to thin before I hit this baseline right here. And then once I come up top, I start full force again, and then try to transition lighter. And this was my attempt at a demo to break it down. And I'm just gonna go ahead and imitate all of these for you. So really the A is a circle and a line that comes up. And then before I even care about pressure, really study each letter and how they connect. And then here's when I try to give you a hint of the difference once I'm putting the difference in pressure. So right now I'm going light, thick, going light again, all the way up, and then I'm gonna go thick again, and then pull up lightly. So it's pretty slow, but if you get faster, then pretty soon you'll just know when to go from thick to thin. So it's kind of nice to break it down and really focus on each letter. And look how shaky and not perfect these look, and that's fine. This is all about practice and really understanding your pen. And then lastly, I have this little drill that I've shown in other videos and posts, but it's just really crucial for me to tell you how I like to practice my strokes. So I have my thin ones up top, and you can see how they gradually connect. So I have thin up strokes. Let's add a line. So these are thin up strokes, and then this was a thick down stroke. Okay, and then I did a thin up and then a thick down. And then I tried to do a thick down, but not lift my pen and go into a thin up. And then I continued and started thin up, thick down, and transitioned back to thin. And then my favorite part is this thin and thick practice that you just kind of slowly get into a rhythm with. So I'm going to go ahead and go through all of those right here in the bottom. Thin, thick, back to thin. And then I actually lift up my pen usually. Thick, lift up, thick down, lift up, thick down, lift up. All right, so that's how I transition from thin to thick, and I hope this helps you a lot. Let me know, and hopefully you'll see improvement with that. Just keep on practicing, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments below or on my blog at piecescalligraphy.com. Thanks.